Welcome back to her story, Black History Month by Salty Vixen, where we celebrate the extraordinary lives, voices, and legacies of Black women who shaped history with courage, intellect, and unyielding commitment to justice. I'm Salty Vixen, and today we honor Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, poet, novelist, orator, abolitionist, suffragist, and temperance advocate. Known as the mother of African American journalism, she used her words as weapons for change, bridging fights for freedom, equality, and moral uplift across race and gender. Born in 1825 and passing in 1911, her story is one of resilience and brilliance that still inspires us today. Frances Ellen Watkins was born on September 24, 1825, in Baltimore, Maryland, to free African American parents. As an only child, she faced early hardship when her mother died at age 3, leaving her orphaned. She was raised by her aunt and uncle, William Watkins, a respected teacher and abolitionist who founded the Academy for Negro Youth. Under his influence, Frances received a solid education rooted in literature, scripture, and the pursuit of justice, seeds that would grow into her lifelong mission. At 14, she began working as a domestic servant in a Quaker home in Baltimore. This position granted her access to books and ideas that fueled her early creativity. By age 20 in 1845, she published her first poetry collection, Forest Leaves, also known as Autumn Leaves, stepping boldly into the literary world as a young Black woman. The Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 brought real peril to free Black families in border states, prompting Frances to relocate to free territory. She taught sewing at Union Seminary in Ohio, now part of Wilberforce University, becoming the first woman to teach there. In 1851, she settled in Philadelphia and collaborated with William Still, a cornerstone of the Underground Railroad, aiding those escaping to freedom while continuing her writing and activism. Her breakthrough arrived in 1854 with poems on miscellaneous subjects, which sold over 10,000 copies, a remarkable feat for any poet, especially a Black woman in that era. The poems confronted slavery's brutality and sexism's toll on women, blending eloquence with urgency. That year she also began lecturing for abolition, traveling extensively before the Civil War. Her speeches stirred hearts. In our greatest want, she proclaimed, our greatest need is not gold or silver, talent or genius, but true men and true women. We have millions of our race in the prison house of slavery, but have not yet a single Moses in freedom. In 1860, Frances married Fenton Harper, an Ohio farmer and widower with 3 children. They had a daughter, Mary, but tragedy struck again. Fenton died in 1864, and unjust laws cost her their farm. Widowed and resolute, she returned to the lecture circuit to support her family. Through the Civil War and Reconstruction, she spoke nationwide against slavery at first, then for educating freed people and rebuilding society on equitable grounds. Post-emancipation, Frances turned to women's rights, partnering with Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton in suffrage efforts. Yet she backed the 15th Amendment, Black men's voting rights in 1870, insisting Black communities needed immediate political power for safety, even if gender equality followed later. She championed universal suffrage and uplift for women of all races. A fierce temperance advocate, she viewed alcohol as a threat to families and communities. In 1873, she served as superintendent of the colored section of the Philadelphia and Pennsylvania Women's Christian Temperance Union. Deeply rooted in the African Methodist Episcopal Church, she taught Sunday school and embodied faith through action. Her literary fire burned on. In 1892, at 67, she released Iola Leroy, or Shadows Uplifted, one of the first novels by an African American woman. It follows Iola, who uncovers her African heritage after enslavement, rejects passing as white, and commits to community uplift through education and reform, exploring race, identity, and duty with profound insight. In 1896, Frances co-founded the National Association of Colored Women, uniting Black women's clubs for education, moral reform, and anti-racism work. She remained vice president until near her life's end. One timeless quote reveals her vision: "We are all bound up together in one great bundle of humanity, and society cannot trample on the weakest and feeblest of its members without receiving the curse in its own soul." Frances Ellen Watkins Harper died on February 22, 1911, in Philadelphia at 85, just 9 years before nationwide women's suffrage via the 19th Amendment. She rests in Eden Cemetery with her daughter, Mary. Her legacy as poet, novelist, journalist, and activist endures, linking abolition, women's rights, temperance, and racial justice. In her story, we remember her as a trailblazer who proved words can dismantle chains and build bridges toward true equality. Thank you for joining me on her story, Black History Month by Salty Vixen. If Frances' journey moved you, share this episode and keep celebrating these powerful voices. Until next time, stay inspired, stay strong.